it's a nice day today. It's Sunday, which means one thing. It's grill time. It's asado time. Let's do some churrasco, which is known here in the States as skirt steak. Very tender if cooked right, very tough if you don't. We're gonna be doing some chimichurri sauce, fresh, of course, and we're gonna be letting it marinate for a couple hours. If you can do overnight, even better. That way the flavors can really penetrate in that meat. So to munch on something in the meantime, I'm gonna be doing some cheese and parsley rings, sausage, and I think they're gonna come out great. So let's get to it. Okay, so as always, let's get to the ingredients. So we're gonna be using some dried oregano. You can use fresh if you want, but we're gonna use dried. Some table salt, let's not use the coarse stuff, and some black pepper. This is gonna be the dry ingredients. So the extra virgin olive oil, of course, and the red wine vinegar. It's gonna be the one that's gonna give us that acidity that we're looking for, and of course 2 bundles of flat leaf parsley, or Italian flat leaf parsley. And of course, for safety, not safety, but for cleanliness, we're gonna use some gloves. All right, so we're gonna cut the stems off. We're not gonna use any of those. We actually just want the leaves. So chop that off, and then we're gonna pick, of course, just the leaves from the stems themselves. Clean up our station as always. Like to work clean, and I just got told that I missed an ingredient. And yes, how can you have chimichurri sauce if you don't have one of the key components, which is garlic? Come on. Okay, so let's go through this again. All right, we got the dried oregano, the black pepper, of course. Did I miss something? Okay, again, the dried oregano. We're gonna use approximately, I'd say, 1/8 of a cup. We're gonna use 4 tablespoons of pepper, 4 tablespoons of salt, 1 head of garlic per every 2 bundles parsley, and we're gonna use 2 cups of olive oil and 1/2 a cup, or 1/3 of a cup actually, of red wine vinegar. So the rule is always use 1 head of garlic per 2 bundles of parsley. So it's basically like a 2-to-1 ratio that you have to use there. And salt is, I guess, more to taste. This is what I used, but it's more to taste. And the pepper, I just use equal parts, and it works perfectly. And the red wine vinegar, you don't want to put too much. So I put like around 1/3 of a cup, and I use 2 cups of olive oil. So that's kind of like the ratio that I use. If you want a little bit more acidity, add a little bit more red wine vinegar, but for me, that was actually perfect. All right, so we're gonna be chopping up this parsley into a little bit finer consistency. We don't want the leaves to, be too coarse, so not too fine, not too coarse. Okay, so we're gonna get a bowl here that is big enough to carry all these ingredients. There's no particular order that you should be pouring these in there. Just put them all at once. Usually the way I do it, I put all the dry ingredients first, and then I put the wet ingredients at the end, which is the olive oil and the red wine vinegar. I will recommend that you separate a portion. One is for marinating, the other one is for just dressing the meat at the end. It gives, enhances a flavor. That way you don't cross-contaminate everything, because you're gonna be working with raw meat. So remember, safety first as always. The meat, I recommend that you let it rest with that marinade, if you can, 12 hours. If not, you can cook it within 2 hours or within 30 minutes. It's just that the longer you let it sit, the better it gets. To the back grill. The bottom vent open. Coals in. Knob turned. Awesome fire. Top vent spun around and open. Let it breathe. Okay, so we're gonna get these coals stirred up. They're ashy, so they're ready to go. And we're gonna start with the cheese sausage rings. And these are perfect. We actually get these from our local butcher here. These are phenomenal. I highly recommend them, even though most of you can't buy them because you don't live local here. But you get the idea. So we're gonna get these things flipped once we get that nice color on one side. We're not gonna be flipping them, back and forth too many times. Just flip it once, and you'll see those juices just kind of, oozing out of there. It's starting to cook, and it's getting a nice color. These are, like I said, these are super, super delicious. They are fantastic. By no means are these sausage rings or spirals or pinwheels, whichever you want to call them, healthy. Even though they have some greens in there, which is parsley, people think, it's probably healthy. No, it's not. It does have its fat content in there, but like I said, most of it just cooks out when you're cooking it over the grill. All right, so we're gonna leave you with these clips so you can gaze upon them. And it's ready to plate. Now for the good stuff, the steak. This one I really like to cook on high heat. As you can see, those coals down there are very high. I mean, just look at the color of this beef. It's fantastic. It's delicious. And then all you have to do is top it with a little bit of chimichurri sauce and start cutting. You serve it with whatever side dish you want. Mashed potatoes, grilled vegetables, rice. This goes with anything. It is fantastic. It's super, super delicious. Like I said, do not overcook it, because if you overcook it, you're gonna have a very tough cut of meat and it's not delicious. All right, guys, until the next time, I'll see you around.